Hello, welcome to Boystown. Today it's kind of a little cloudy day here in the village of Boystown, but very warm. And we're going to today talk about the history of education here at Boystown, because education was very important to Father Flanagan. He had programs here at Boystown from the very beginning to take care of the children that came here, because vast majority of the boys who came to him in the early days hadn't been in school for 3 years, so they needed to get caught up again on their education. But the problem was when he first created Boystown, they were going to public school. And in public schools, some of our boys weren't accepted very well because he accepted children of all races and religions. So sometimes they were ignored or not helped in the classroom. And being 3 years behind in their schoolwork, they really weren't getting the assistance they needed. And so Father Flanagan decided, I'm going to create my own school. Just imagine how bold that was of Father Flanagan to say back in 1919, I want to create my own school, I'm going to have my own curriculum, and I'm going to create a program that's going to work with children that really nobody wanted. Because these, again, were boys that were homeless, they were coming from the streets, some had maybe been in trouble, been in reformatories, so their education had been very not well taken care of, and many people actually wrote them off saying, well, why are you educating these children? They're street children, they'll never have the opportunity to succeed in life, you're just wasting your time and money. But Father Flanagan knew every child was precious, and that's why he said, I want to create a unique education program at Boystown. And that's what he did in 1919 when he opened up our Boystown School at our first home, or our second home actually, our German-American home in downtown Omaha. And I brought some photographs here kind of showing you our history. Because, you know, we love photographs here at Boystown. We have over 600,000 photographs and even more. They arrive every day. People are sending us images of Boystown. And so we like to share them with the public because we can't put them all on display. We would need massive buildings to do that. So today I'm going to start off right here with an image of the old German-American home, which is Father Flanagan's second home. And it stood on 13th Street in downtown Omaha. The German-American Society actually had the building. It was closed during World War I due to anti-German feeling. So Father Flanagan rented it very cheaply, moved in with the boys. He had some of the sisters come and help him take care of the children there. And he had a good group of volunteers. And this is where he founded our Boystown School, because he said, I'm going to have this education program for the kids. And this is an image of our very first classroom that we had at Boystown. This was down at the German-American home. You can see one of the sisters is in the background helping the boys, and then he had volunteers come out. These were men and women from the Omaha community, and they came out to teach the boys in the classroom. And this was the opportunity for these children to succeed in life. And again, many of them hadn't been in school for 3 or 4 years. So he had to come up with new ways to engage the boys in the classroom. And he was always thinking of new ways of making it interesting for them. And he wanted very positive, happy people to be around the children. So that's what the teachers were. There was no shouting in the classroom, no one getting hit with rulers or anything, because that was totally against Father Flanagan's ideas and concepts. And you know what? It succeeded. The children were getting better in their education and moving ahead even of the children in public school. And once Father Flanagan moved out here to Overlook Farm, he built the Omaha building. And this is an image of the old Omaha building, completed in 1923. Father loved this building. It was a big brick modern building. The top floors were the dormitories, and then the level right here, about the first level, that was our school. And in that classrooms there, he expanded. He had more room because he had about 200 boys at this point, close to 300 eventually. And so the classrooms were created there for the boys. And this being in this modern new building here, he would actually participate in the education. There's Father right there teaching in one of the classrooms for the boys. And you can see the desks they had back in the day. What's unique about this room, too, it's kind of hard to see, but he had these images here. And what these images are, they're pictures of Native American tribes, because Father Flanagan wanted to display them in the classroom, because he had Native American children living with him at Boystown. So he wanted them represented in the classroom. And you can see the boys all dressed nice in the classroom here. This is a neat little picture right here of a classroom back at that time at the Omaha building, and there's all the boys in the classroom. You can kind of see the different personalities of the boys here. Some of the boys in the back are turning away or laughing because they're excited. Someone's actually come in their classroom to take their photograph. And again, you can see the diversity of the home at the time. There's children of all races and religions living together and learning together in one classroom. Very unique for its time in America. It was revolutionary, that alone, let alone the ideas and concepts Father Flanagan had educating the children. And that first building was great for a while, but then Father Flanagan wanted to expand the village. So back in the 1940s, he created a massive building project in the village of Boystown and created this beautiful building. This was the high school that Father Flanagan designed back in 1946, and it finally opened in about 1949. This beautiful modern new building was built on the Art Deco design. It was part of the larger expansion program that he created here in the village of Boys Town, because his dream was to have about 1,000 boys living here in the village of Boys Town. You can imagine 1,000 boys living together in one community, and no one had ever seen it before in the United States, let alone the world. But eventually, by 1950, over 900 boys were living here. And in the high school, we had close to 500 boys in the high school, and then the elementary school program, we had close to 400 boys. And these school classrooms, again, were modern for the time. This is one of the classrooms back in the day of the 1950s. Into the 60s, the boys are doing the technology of the time, typing. They had huge typing classes where the boys would come in and learn how to type. And you can see on the board everything written out for the boys, also all part of that concept of educating the children here in the village of Boys Town. This young man right here actually went on to become a Fulbright scholar. He was a resident here in the village of Boys Town, excelled in education, and he retired as controller over a power corporation in the Northwest. So an example of him receiving his education right here at Boys Town to go on and become a Fulbright scholar. And then we have another image. This is one of my favorites. There's all the boys in the hallway of the old school. And you can see they're all dressed up in the fall for school with their coats on and their hats, but you can see from their expressions how happy they are. They're in a school where they're being accepted, they're succeeding in education, and that's all part of Father's concept. He wanted children to come here and succeed, and that's why we created the education program we still carry on today. The whole concept is to help our children succeed and go out and be productive in society. Here's another great image of one of the classrooms back in the 1960s of the boys. And it was all part, again, of that idea that they were going to come here and receive the rudimentary education. Some went on to do trade school programs. Some went on to academic courses. Every boy was different on what they followed when they came to be part of the education program here in the village of Boys Town. And eventually girls came to join us. And this is one of our girls from the 1980s back in the hallway of the old school. You can see the old-fashioned lockers. And so girls came in 1979 and been part of our program ever since. And again, she's in our old school that we had here on campus, and that old school was beloved. But you know, after a while, education changes, and requirements for education of children also change over time. And the building Father Flanagan designed had to be remodeled to update it for current use for children. And it was decided by the administration it actually would be better to build a whole new building, something Father Flanagan always loved to do, because here in the village of Boys Town, he was constantly building new buildings all the time. So the decision was made that the old school would be taken down and a brand new school would be created. And that's what I'm standing in today. I'm standing in our new education center that was just completed a few years ago here in the village of Boys Town. And it was made possible through donors across America who invested in this future of our boys and girls who come here, all part of Father Flanagan's ideas and concepts, again, of providing the children a future. This beautiful modern building has the new technology for the kids. It has ways for them to express themselves through media and digital and video. There's modern classrooms. There's security in place, too. The boys and girls helped to design the building, so as you walk through, there's beautiful artwork that the boys and girls have created, and it's all been created just for them. And many of the boys and girls, when they come in, are just amazed because they've never seen a school like this before. And they love the school, too, and they make sure that it's taken care of. So anyone who tries to the kid might do something inappropriate in one of the rooms, they quickly stop them because they said, no, this is our school, this is our special place. And in the building here, there's a unique place, and I'm standing in it. This is kind of the resource center with the library, but then also on the wall here, we have some beautiful butterflies, because as the building was being created, the concept was thinking how our boys and girls come to us. They're kind of like not fully formed because they've been hindered by a variety of issues in their lives. But once they're here in the village of Boys Town, they're able to expand and begin new lives just like a butterfly coming out of their shell. And that's exactly what was created here in this special room here, the media room. And you can see up on the wall all these beautiful butterflies. These were all individually designed by the boys and girls a few years ago when the museum was created. Not one of these butterflies is a duplicate, and that reflects the fact, too, here in the village of Boys Town, every one of our boys and girls is a unique individual. Just like Father Flanagan wanted back over 100 years ago. He treated the boys as individuals because he created individual educational programming for children. One of the first in America to do that. And that's what we carry on here in the village of Boys Town today. So our children come to us and they live as individuals and they have their own education path, whether they're working on their math or their reading or verbal skills, all part of their life here in the village of Boys Town. And we have this unique case that was created as part of the display here going along with the butterflies. And it's called the Transformation of Life. It's kind of the story how in 2023 the Education Center was created and decision was made to create this display of butterflies. And all of this beautiful artwork you can see here in these display cases was done by one of our former girls here on campus. She actually works in our print shop now. She created this artwork for us, and it's all done by hand. So she's a fantastic artist. Again, part of the concept of Father Flanagan, having the children express themselves in a positive way. We actually have a prayer for youth from Father Flanagan from 1946 that we added to the case so people can understand Father Flanagan's ideas and concepts. Again, his prayer that the boys and girls would live here and have good spiritual giants, as he called them, and begin new lives. We have some of the pictures of the kids actually creating them, painting the butterflies over time, and then the butterflies being installed. Some even did some of the pre-butterfly concept too. So you see some of those. And then actually some of the closer up view of some of the butterflies that were created. And then a beautiful poem that was created too, the beginning of everything after, written by one of our children here in the village of Boys Town. So it's again one of the concepts of incorporating the children into their new school. And this is a very unique school again, and it's going to be very busy. Right now it's nice and quiet because the kids aren't here. Next week they're going to begin school here in the village of Boys Town, carrying on that over 100-year tradition of children being educated at the community of Boys Town. And when they come here, they have their teachers in place. They have the education program ready to go, the vocational program, our sports program. Everyone is in place and ready to go to welcome the boys and girls back. They're excited to come back because they want to get back in that routine of being in school and to see a lot of their friends again. So it's all part of carrying on that tradition here in the village of Boys Town. Many times we update programs here at Boys Town, but our basic traditions continue on here of loving and taking care of our children in the village of Boys Town. That's what Father Flanagan said. We had the massive mission of bringing hope and love to the unwanted and unloved children across America. That's what he believed was our mandate, and we carry that on today in the village of Boys Town. And if you'd like to be part of that program, helping us take care of our boys and girls here, you can go to boystown.org and learn how you can be a supporter of Boys Town and help carry on Father Flanagan's ministry of serving the boys and girls here in the village of Boys Town and families across America. So I want to thank you for joining me today and welcome back our boys and girls to school next week. And I hope the school year begins well for your families also. And thank you very much for joining me today. And I hope you come and visit the village of Boys Town soon, because visitors are always welcome to come and learn about the village Father Flanagan created for children that nobody wanted. Thank you very much for joining me today.